You ready? This is the redevelopment committee meeting on April 15th. Let's do roll call. Ashley? Here. Christina here. Max?
Here.
Jerry? Here. Sandy?
Here.
Daryl? Not present. First order is to approve the meeting minutes for March 11th and March 25th, for the special session we had on the 25th. Has everybody had a minute to look over the meeting minutes?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for March 11th and March 25.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay.
So I'll just move into old business. So I got 12827 Linover Street. This was the property we had the offer packet issued back in, I think it was February. Part of the state statute on the disposal process is we were to accept no less than the average of 2 appraisals, which came in at $203,000 for the property. At 30 days after that offer submittal periods expired or passed, the council or the commission can now negotiate prices and accept offers less than that average appraisal. So that period would have been March 20th. So as of March 20th, we're now open to negotiate kind of freely with this property. I received 2 proposals. Since I can give a quick overview of the offer package if you guys would like, or I can show photos, but if that's not necessary, we can kind of just jump into the 2 proposals. Okay, so the first one, was from Stalin Construction Company. This was for a proposed fitness and wellness center with gym equipment, tanning beds, saunas, and exercise classes, offered at $60,000. The other was for $75,000, multi-use commercial space, framing, photography, art studio, 24/7 workout, children's art, music, short-term rental, screen printing operation, catering, pest, pond, pool, lawn supply store. And that one was circled, so we'll kind of get back. I don't know, George, if you want.
That's kind of the one I researched the most. When I start something, I always kind of give myself 5 or 6 ideas. Then I do my due diligence and my research, and whatever I think is going to be best for the community, best for profits, and best for success. That's the one I try to do.
So that's the one you're most interested in.
So far, that's one pulling most numbers with the demographics and how many people's in Dillsboro on the island, and with the population and demographics. That's the one that's pulling the numbers right now.
So I mean, we can certainly negotiate with you guys, both of you guys, if you want to give us an alternate offer. You don't have to accept anything. We can decline all offers. We can. We do have a proposal to go listed again with Jay Knowles. I've kind of held off on that until we can at least consider these 2 proposals. So I can kind of, I don't know if you guys each want to talk if you want, or if you get permission, you just want to ask questions. I open it however you guys want to go about this, but it's.
I'd probably be willing to offer more, especially if the redevelopment committee will put money towards it like they're doing for the Lucky Eagles building. So.
My opinion on that is appraised for 203, and if we're going that low, I don't see where we can put any money towards that. That's just that's my opinion on that.
Yep.
Because it's like
143.
128,000, was it?
No, 143.
143?
Yeah, because 60 out of the 203.
203. Yeah.
Where I got my proposal is with the layout of the building, to make it what I want to make it. It's going to need a total remodel, and I'm looking to put about 130 to 140 in it. So that would bring us, up there. And I don't want to get too high. I don't want to have to worry about how much money I put in it to for the appraisal to come back.
And I would be in the same situation, I have to put 100,000 plus.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good, so
Yeah,
no matter what you do, you're spending at least 100,000.
Yeah,
because it would be in a doctor's office, the layout and the water and all that stuff is kind of in odd places, and you're gonna have some money, you're gonna have some time.
Well, and I went and saw, our last meeting after the meeting was over, I went and I looked at it, and I didn't realize how choppy it was. I mean, it's a big building
Right.
per se, when you walk inside, it's a really nice sized building, but it is
Yeah.
very chopped up. It is
yeah,
gonna
cause
take,
it was a doctor's office.
Yeah.
So it was, going in. Doing that.
I was actually surprised how much space, because I'd only seen it from the outside. I was surprised how much space there was, but it is very choppy. Does anybody have any opinions about what their plans are to be, what they're using it for?
That's right.
Or does the commission mind, or does the commission have a preference? Oh, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I mean, if anybody has, do we have a preference on what we would wanna see in town?
I mean, I think the gym, the 24/7 access would be nice. But then again, there is people that need supplies for like, yeah, so it's like,
Well, and that's what I was thinking too, is I was thinking, how many pools are in the area? So I started kind
Yeah,
of
there's
mapping the people I know who have pools, and I was like, that's a lot more. But I also, like you, I think, man,
What
I
do you
have to go to Planet Fitness, cause I drive over there 3 times a week, and I am telling you. And
these are both good.
that the reality is now that it's not summertime, I'm not as complaining about it, but I was going 6 days a week, and that's a haul.
I'm also thinking of the high school kids around here too.
Yeah,
Something for them to be able to go do.
I mean, it's close.
You know.
I've said for a long time. I was talking to a friend about the Greco's business out there on 50, that would be the perfect gym too, but
What do you think with the pest ponds, pools and lawns is I already got all the connections for that. And with the pest control business, so that would be, that is another reason I circled it, it would be an easy transaction too, and then all the research shows that there's a pretty good use for it, there's lots of ponds, pools in different county.
I think for me, I mean, I'm not so much hung up on what's gonna go there. I'm just, like last time with Caleb, I'm one of those guys, whichever route we go, however they do that, I'm not for sure. But I would like to get something, I wouldn't wanna sell a property for 75, 80,000 when it appraised at 203. And then someone goes in and maybe does a little work and then turns around 6 months later and flips it. I would like to at least see a business go in there and stay in there for a little while. But I don't know, that would probably be your guys' deal there on your contract.
That's kind of my other thing too, I mean, are we gonna have some sort of agreement that's recorded and, a similar type of deal? I mean, we can work directly in this situation, we don't have to work through the CDC. So I mean, we could have an agreement that, is like, essentially I don't know, something we could forgive after a 5-year period, whatever it is, whatever terms we agree to, so.
Yeah. If I might,
Yeah.
like the county, generally, whenever they do a deal such as this, the redevelopment, they're given, an incentive and reduced price for the building. They usually do an economic development agreement. And that would be up to you on what those clawbacks look like. But, if you're given this $130,000, $140,000 incentive, you want to see specific things happening in the building. You don't want to just see them, like you were saying, buy it and get rid of it or do a little bit of work or whatever, to protect you all. So I would definitely recommend some sort of economic development agreement. Maybe there's a lot of different ways you can do it. I think with the county, they usually do 2 to 5 years. And if certain metrics aren't met, they get the land back or the property back or whatever. So that'd be something I guess they would speak with John about. I could see what some of our past ones look like and maybe send that over. But yeah, so usually with the county, I think they get offers and then accept an offer contingent upon an agreed upon economic development agreement.
Yeah, so I think if we want to agree with one tonight, it'd just be a matter of establishing the terms, getting that clear on the record, and then we could essentially award it, and then we would work out the paperwork ahead of our next meeting.
How do you guys feel about that, if we put some things contingent, because it is, I mean, it either price 70 or 65, those are both steals for
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, a brick and mortar, I mean,
Right.
it's a nice building, so that,
I'd be interested, I think 5 years is a little long. I'd be interested maybe a 2 to 3 year, just keeping it for 2 to 3 years. But I wouldn't be able to tell you what I want to do exactly until all the numbers came back. I'd have to run,
right,
and that's a lot of work. So I was just gonna wait and see if it was available to me, and then I will definitely do the research. But I'd be willing to sign something for 2 to 3 years saying that, I'm not gonna flip it or turn it, or that I'm gonna do my very best to make it successful. But with the economy, you don't know. But I'm willing to do that.
Mike,
Probably have it up and going within a year and a half.
So would you make any commitment to how long you would run the business?
Or as long as I'm alive. Until Brady's taking over anyway, so he'll take over and run it just like the coffee shop he's doing, so.
I think both ideas are nice. We need to get more stuff in Dillsboro like that.
I mean, I'm selfish, and I'll readily admit that, like I said, I drive to Planet Fitness every.
I like the idea of having this right in town.
Yeah, cause I would probably almost double what I pay at Planet Fitness for tanning beds, gym equipment, and then the sauna that Planet Fitness doesn't even have. So I mean, I know if I'm willing to go that route, there's other people who probably would be too, but that's my personal opinion because I'm on a wellness journey. If you'd asked me 2 years ago, I would have said, no, I want the coffee shop and I want donuts and I want, so but
It would have to be a discussion. I'll agree with what Chrissy said. On the man's flip side of it, I used to be in the fitness. I still go to tanning bed every once in a while. But like for me, you get something in kind of like what Mr. Rancho wants to do, and can that expand out to get something like what we have with Lucky. I hate driving to Lawrenceburg to go to Lowe's or Baumgart's to get weed and feed for the grass or chemicals for the pool.
Yeah, that's where it started for me.
But
I go to Tractor Supply.
I'm good either way. I know if it was a gym, my wife and daughter would be there all the time. Will I be there? Probably not. But it'll definitely be something that what would be the best impact for the community.
I'm home all day, every day. I homeschool my kids. So that would be a big benefit because I don't really leave town, but like maybe twice a week, but.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking. I had stuff I was doing around home. I could have easily made an hour to go in
And run
town,
down the road, yeah.
but I didn't have, God forbid, they're working on Wawa's today and you're sitting there for 40 minutes, just waiting to get 3 blocks down the road. And if that's what, it's honestly gotten to the point where I'm like, is traffic bad? I pull it up in MapQuest, how long it's gonna take me to get there to see how bad traffic is.
Do you guys think it's gonna come down to who's willing to offer the most money?
And my other thing is how long you're gonna keep it, because that's the thing too, is we've got so many empty buildings. I mean, and that is that's my fear factor. My fear factor is, in a year and a half, Mike's gonna have it up and running great, and then he's saying he's gonna keep it. So he would be willing to say, I'll do 5 years, 10 years, whatever the thing is. I mean, not we in general, but the first coffee shop in town, that turned into a years-long situation, and I don't wanna see that again, where we've got another really decent building sitting open. And especially because that, I would feel very personally responsible for that. Cause I'd be like, yeah, we did that.
Did you offer 60 or 65, Mike? 60, that's what I thought.
Now, Mike, just a question. So on the gym thing, I know you're putting stuff together, so it's hard to answer now, but is it gonna be like free weights type things? Is it gonna be more towards cardio with treadmills? I mean,
I don't, what Laura was doing all that research part, so it'll probably be something of everything. Cause I know she goes down to Planet.
Yeah, I've seen her at Planet, she does both, she does free weights, she does.
I don't go to, I don't, so.
What?
I have a
I
membership.
don't have.
I have a membership there. I go every now and again.
Right.
We also got a membership for sales.
I work out of my house, cause
It's just too much.
Well,
it's just a
design.
lot, you know, the kids and everything, my husband's working.
When I did the research here, that was third or fourth on the numbers because of the population and Planet Fitness, you're competing against Planet Fitness and you're also competing against the one in Versailles, so that was
Which,
like,
those are both really nice gyms, and that's
Yes.
my thing, is they're very nice gyms, but I'm
The only
also,
problem is too, they're not 24/7.
Yeah,
that's true.
I mean,
They're not 24/7.
and I've got friends who live in big cities and they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna go over here, and I'm like, how long does that take you? And they're like, oh, an hour and 10 minutes, and that's just like a drive across town, and I'm like, an hour and 10 minutes is half my day.
yeah.
I mean, that's just, I can't,
That is too much.
5 minutes down the road, sometimes I'll look and go, oh gosh.
So what are we doing here?
I mean, I really love the idea of a fitness thing. I know I do think that there's a lot of pools and ponds and things. I just know, a lot of people order from Amazon. And I don't know I don't know what the percentage is of that. I don't pretend to know that I mean, you've done a lot more research than I have. Cause I don't pretend to know. I mean, I have pests, but that's my kids, so I mean, I'm not really looking to control that, you know.
I was looking at the pools and pond thing. For this area, I think it'd be great. I mean, because we're kind of getting hung up on the pools and ponds. But like for this demographic area, you got the pest control, which is like stuff you're gonna get at Lowe's. You're gonna have the weed and feed for your yards. I'm sure.
Seed,
I'm sure. you're gonna have-
fertilizer,
Yeah, for farmers.
tons of products.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too, when you look at that. And can that business turn into something maybe where you start carrying nuts and bolts, or, I mean, you don't never know. but-
It's
I don't
really
have
got no
that.
limitations. So far, that, like I said, so far with the research I've done, that one right there is probably gonna be the most successful. I'm not sure yet, I'm not absolutely finished, but, there's so many products available. Gardening products, seed sets, I mean, those things, they're getting harder and harder to find here. You know, you got fish coming in if people wanna stock their ponds, you got chickens, everybody's into chickens. I mean, there's lots of things you could do with that building.
So here's my only question I got, cause I'm open either way. I really don't have a dog in the fight. I'd use both. But my thing here is, what it's gonna boil down to me is, I know it's for the community and we wanna put back in the community. So I'll ask,
What's gonna work for the community?
well, what's gonna work, but it's also gotta give back. So like, if you was to go with the pond thing, how many local employees do you think that would employ?
Probably two, other than her and I.
And what about you, Mike? I mean,
Probably not the same.
about the same. So it'd be back, cause the community, we get back in the community too with the money that comes out of it. That's.
I mean, looking at it from that point of view though, I mean, how many high schoolers and stuff would benefit from at least having a gym closer? Cause like my kid won't, my kid won't go, he will not go to Lawrenceburg with me. He has a membership I paid every month. He will not go with me. He'll get his license in August now, cause he gets his driver's license. He would be more prone to go then, but I don't think he still will. I think to him that's just too much. But I know for me,
Yeah, teens, young adults
Yeah.
that live in town, I feel like this would be beneficial. This would
what's
be,
your
I mean,
opinion?
What's your
personally,
opinion?
You said nothing. So I know you're
Taking
thinking,
it all in.
you're thinking. You got that thinking look,
I feel like
so.
this is just offering more to go to in the town. And
The only
be,
problem
not that this
I have with
isn't, but
Fitness center is the competition you get from somebody like down the road and Monster.
Well, the other thing that pulled up when I did the research on that too is the income in our community is low. So even though a kid may wanna work out, he may not be able to afford the monthly subscription, or there's a lot of families here that don't, they probably can't afford, you know, $25, $35 a month or whatever it's
Well,
gonna
I'm
be.
probably the only one here that's old enough, but we did have a fitness center in Dillsboro one time.
Yeah.
Didn't last. So it was over in the White Crane Building.
Well,
I remember that.
the population and the income in this community, when I did the research, that was the only thing that really, I mean, that's two major things, don't get me wrong, but that was the only two things that the success rate of gyms are pretty much high these days. So I mean, there was a lot of positives, but the two major things was population for sales. Lawrenceburg.
Dillsboro also has a lot of older people that
Well, that's
choose
true
not
too.
to
Mhm.
use the gym. That's kind of one of the things that it said when we were doing some research, that there's a lot of elderly over 60, you know, here in the community that probably won't have any desire to, you know, go to the gym.
And that's what's the hardest for me, because we're sitting on this side table.
Cause that was,
Right.
that was one of my ideas that's on there is, but like I said, I'm definitely gonna pull more numbers, but so far what I got that pulls the most numbers is the one I serve.
Like you research, how many ponds, how many pools are in this area?
Yes, sir.
I know people that, like with pools, they have to drive to Florence
Yeah.
or the Western Hills or
Well,
somewhere.
that was another thing too, say, so if it took off, you know, then I could hire people to start your pool up, clean your pools, you know, that would be,
Deliver
that
chemicals to
deliver
you.
chemicals. That would be another option that we had with that is delivery service. You know, a lot of these older guys out here and stuff like that, they want the seed, they want the fertilizer, they want that, but you know, we can deliver it.
That's a lot good.
And our pricing with the chemical companies that we already deal with, I get pretty good pricing, so there is a 30 to 35% markup. So the profit's there too.
So I guess, so I'm, like I said, I'm trying to think of how many people, I know I've got two friends at the pool, one lives in Aurora, so he's not gonna count, but I've got one local that has, well, probably two people local that have a pool here in town. And then my son is that crazy kid going around knocking on people's doors saying, hi, my name's Trevor, can I fish in your pond?
It's not cash?
No, it's Trevor, and thank goodness he's a good kid and he's
Yeah,
very
we had-
polite.
We have about
seven
seven of them out the other
yesterday.
day.
Yeah, yeah.
Trevor might have been one of them.
I'm sure he is, he's on an electric bike.
Yep,
Yes.
that was him.
Yeah, they were-
He's, and he's that kid that does that, and I know about how many ponds he goes to that have fish and he's like, Mom, you know, they've got fish. And I'm thinking, I mean, I'm gonna go on a limb and just say 10, there's 10 fully fishable ponds, but I'm also thinking, you know, on the same lines, how many people would go to the gym?
Right.
You know, cause I mean, two of us, you know, would 100%, and that, I mean.
But I can see their point too, that there's a lot of families that's not gonna be able to pay membership for.
Well, I mean, I
a
guess
gym
that would
you know,
depend on what their plan is
What
for
their, yeah,
price.
their price is gonna be.
Well,
And
I'm
then
too
it-
competitive pricing here with like, if you got chicken feed, I have chickens. And the pool supplies and like all of this and how the pricing here compared to where you get that regularly, like saying, where I get it at Baumgart's.
Or have to,
Like that would
like
have to
driving
be
to
the
the
thing
gym,
too, because
something.
I'd rather have my husband buy it there if it's $5, $10 cheaper and come home with it than.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
What do you mean on the pest control? Are you meaning you're gonna have, cause you have a business out on 50.
I do, we do pest control, but there's, you know, we got 7,000 customers, but there's probably 10,000 people that do it themselves.
That call me
So-
all the time.
Oh, so you
So
just
they-
have the chemicals.
Yeah, I
there.
get hundreds of calls a year for, can I stop by and get chemical?
And certain things now you can't sell.
No, there's-
And yeah,
a lot of
there- a lot of
chemicals we
chemicals I can't, yeah,
but-
they're licensed products,
They're
but there's a lot of products that I can't sell. That are even, some products are even better than what you would get at the Baumgartners or Tractor Supply or.
And then the water and soil testing?
Well, you need
That's
a
an
spot, you need a spot where people can, if you're gonna, especially if you're gonna hand out products, right? You need someone that they can consult with, so, you know, I got a license in pretty much everything in that area, lawn, and all that, so, I got turf management license, so when I hand out all these supplies, I would also be able to tell them, this is how you apply it, this is what you need, and that's what people, I think, even in people that treat their own pools, would love to have someone say, hey, test this water, tell me what I need. I test the water, tell them exactly what they need for their pond or their pool. You know, they bring me in flowers from their, you know, the flowers that grow up from the bottom of the pond, they bring me in that, I test that, give them the correct product and let them treat it.
Are you planning on using that whole building for just this here, or are you gonna divide it?
No, it's, the way it's kind of set up, I'm going to do an area for all those. Pest,
Okay.
pond, pools and lawns.
It'll be like a storefront though, right?
It is gonna be a storefront.
Okay, that's.
And one question that, well, it did come up, I want the zoning to be able to put up a nice, secure, tall fence for other products like seed, anything I can put under maybe a carport or in, like I talked to him about, maybe putting in like a 3-car garage or a barn in the back where I could store dry products.
You could eventually sell dog food.
Dog
Just
food,
like-
yeah, that type, I mean, you
Well,
can
if
really.
it's your land, yeah, I don't see what the problem is.
I bought enough to know,
There are restrictions on
Is there?
fencing sizes based on zoning.
yes.
You can do contingent offers that are contingent on zoning approval. I mean, this board.
I put that in there.
We did.
I put that in there.
Yeah, this board doesn't have a say on that, unfortunately.
So that would be zoning and.
That'd be the BZA or the
Yeah.
planning commission, depending on what direction you need to go with that.
I just got one more thing, then I won't say nothing else the rest of the time. I poke holes and stuff. I just try to get everything out.
Fine.
Cause like I said, I'm good either way. Mike's got a great idea. You got a good idea. I just kind of look at the math and like what you guys said down there. So, and Mike, this is nothing against you. I'm just gonna poke holes in you real quick. So if you know 100 people in the town that'll get a membership, and that same 100 people got a membership at Planet Fitness, Mike, are you really gonna be able to sustain to keep that building open at $1,000 a month? Because when it comes down to me, if it's pay my $10 or the 20 for your family thing, whatever it is now we pay, and just drive 15 minutes to Lawrenceburg, or now it's gonna cost me $30, I'm probably just gonna stay in Lawrenceburg.
I pay 30 right now, and then I pay 15 for my kid. So I pay $45 a month for
But
2
you-
people's membership,
But you
and
do,
only one uses it.
but you got the whole thing where you can take friends in for free and stuff, cause I think it's like.
Yeah, but
You got the high.
Yeah, cause I think
Yeah.
I think ours is like $20.
Yeah,
And that's just because they
I've
use
used
the
it maybe
candidates.
once or twice, like my son, or my daughter, brought her boyfriend once and he wanted to go to the gym with me, so I signed him in.
And then the same thing with you, on the business, and that was, I'm not beating you up, I just poke holes, I mean, that's kind of what you gotta look at, what we're looking at, cause. Yeah, we put a gym in there, and like he said, we had one at the White Crane, hell, we had 2 in for sales at one time, and the one couldn't survive. Like you, if you get that in there, the chemicals, and it's not taken off, and then we're gonna get stuck with a vacant building.
No, that's why I got
What
5
other
or,
ideas?
I got plenty of ideas.
And
I'll succeed at something. I'll give that a couple years ago, cause a lot of times it takes, 6-8 months to get off the ground, and I got the backing to back myself, to cover myself. And the building being paid off, that's a absolute plus, right? So you don't got any rent. So I don't see a failure rate, and I'm gonna crunch more numbers, but I ran into the same thing with the gym. I love the gym idea, and I got the same idea she does. Every time she says, let's go to the gym, it's 45 minutes. But the money and the numbers aren't there, your population isn't there. If you look at the demographics, I mean, if you added other services like, lashes, tattoos, something else, if you split it up, but then you're cutting your building in half, right? So I thought of every scenario with that 24/7, because in Indy, we went to a gym, her and I went, my son's in a 24 gym, and it's fantastic. And they got golf simulations the same way, where you get a keypad or a key card, and you swipe this key card, and you go in at 3 o'clock in the morning. If I wake up at 4:30, that'd be fantastic for me to shoot right down the road and it'll work out and do my thing.
Yeah, I woke up at 3:30 this morning. I would have loved to be able,
Yeah.
be able to find my way to, didn't
But-
it? I was like,
But I
45
just,
minutes to get there and 45 minutes back home, and then, you know, I've got to get my son, and I just sat there and I talked myself out of it, because it's so far.
well, nothing against that idea, cause like I said, I had that idea too, I believe, honestly, I don't think you're gonna get the pool that you think you're gonna get. I mean, you're gonna have, you're gonna have certain people that just absolutely love it, but they're not gonna be able to sustain that equipment and that money, and then maintenance on the equipment and
Well, the other thing.
cleaning supplies, and there's a lot that goes into
The
that.
cost of the equipment.
Well, the maintenance and upkeep on the equipment and things like that
Not
too.
only that, with this smaller community, you're gonna have to have a large fee to charge them monthly in order to cover your
Yeah, well,
costs.
you're not gonna.
You're not gonna do
Yeah,
$20, you're not gonna be able to do $20 like you
Yeah.
do Planet Fitness, because it's not gonna cover your costs for the.
And I think and between them and Versailles, they're pulling most of your population that work out. I mean, you got a nice population here, but, not so much in Dillsboro, but you do have a nice population with different county surrounding areas, but they're also getting pulled in two different directions already.
Are you concerned about that, Mike?
Not really, because if the gym didn't work, we'll just start another business doing something else.
There you go.
Yeah.
Same thing.
The building will be paid for, I won't have a loan on it, so
Yeah.
if the gym stuff doesn't work out, we'll just do something else.
Yeah.
It's like doing with the bank, so.
I think with the both of us, I think keeping the building is not gonna be an issue for Mike or myself at all.
Both of us will make something work there.
But I think that's my hardest thing right now, is you're both very successful, and I'm not worried about either of you. You know,
Are we crunching numbers or what are we doing?
are you waiting on me? I'm like, oh my God.
So we got Ranch House is offering us 75 for the building. We got Mike offering us 60.
I guess what terms are important too, that we wanna
And what
actually,
terms are important
them
to
to.
that we wanna hold?
Well, if they would agree to the terms of.
I think we need to,
Right.
yeah.
And I have a question. We have talked before about helping other people out. and stuff like that.
Right.
Well, the way I look at this, this price is a deal.
Right.
Yeah,
Either
absolutely,
one.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Either one of us.
I'm the same way, yeah.
Now, if we wanna help other people, does the money that goes to Caleb come out of this? that we're
Yes,
going?
yes. it will.
So then they'll have a certain amount left to
What's
help
Caleb's
anybody else
46?
that wants to come in.
Yeah.
And we wanna help. And
So that only makes us 14.
whatever you guys wanna do, I mean, to me, you buy it, it's your, you
Right.
know, it's your risk,
Well-
not mine.
Well, both of us have got to be able to have some flexibility to make something successful. I mean, you can't be under lock and key to make it just a gym or just a pond, pool and squat. You gotta have some flexibility, and I think Mike and I both are capable of doing whatever we put our minds to.
Well, both of you are going to are gonna be successful with what you do, you know,
Mhm.
and
I think the only thing
thus
we
far
really
don't
said
need to.
that
hold
we
you
didn't
down.
want anything like.
we don't have to
Babes.
hold them in anything.
Yeah, I mean, my only thing is we don't want anything that, because it is a building that we're selling, our big stipulation would be, we don't want anything that is,
Competitive.
no, more of an, I'm trying to think of a really nice way of putting it, like an eyesore to the town. Like, we don't want,
We're trying to go out, not-
yeah, we're not
Like a
trying
Saturday or
to.
something. I feel ya.
I mean, that's our only real,
well.
that's the one thing we talked about. I don't want something that I'm gonna have to start picking out front. to
Oh,
get
yeah.
it.
Right.
You know, that, and that, I mean, that's my big contingency. I mean, I don't wanna,
Well, Mike and I both
I don't
got
wanna put my
grandkids,
hand
so I
up.
don't think we're gonna have any.
Well, I don't want, and we both live here, you know,
Yeah,
we don't want to drive by there and see anything that's
And that's, that goes right back to that whole me selfishly looking and saying that I gotta stand in town and be like, that, I did that. I let that happen. I sure did. And I
We'd
put my
both be
hands
in
on my face and go, I can't believe I just let that happen.
I have to petition it.
Now I have to stand outside and picket something that I let happen. That's my worst nightmare. So, I mean, that's just that would be one of the main contingencies is that we have, something where
Positive
we want something to enhance the vision of the
Attract
community,
people
not,
to-
not attract people that are, and, I know there's probably more people that vape than use the gym or ponds or pools, either one, but I really don't love the idea of that showing up in town.
No, they can
either. I mean,
drive, it's fine.
Yeah, they can go to, I mean, you can go to the
Go there.
IGA, you can go to, I assume Dollar General sells all that stuff too,
Probably.
and everybody sells it, so you don't need to. That's my other things. I just don't want something that where we're looking like, oh, no, we did that. So that's my and, obviously, I mean, my horse is behind the gym just because I'm selfish about that too, because I'm like, gosh, I would love to have a gym in town. But I also think that, money wise, 60 is a lot, or 75 is a lot prettier than 60, so that's kind of but I also know that we do want to help with a couple other buildings in town, because I would love to see a couple of those other ones move. So.
Well, that's a huge consideration for me. If we're really trying to get the town going and, business coming in and stuff, well, we don't want to hamstring ourselves.
Right.
But we can't help.
Right.
Just why I asked, do we want to just see who's going to offer this money? Or is that important?
Why, can we give them a couple of minutes where they can go and talk and decide amongst themselves what their biggest top dollar is, and then just say that's,
we can have
Or
a meeting on
is there a number that we would like to get?
I mean, my number's the 203, I would love to see that, but I know that's not reasonable, it's not, I mean,
Yeah.
and I also know that that would come contingent on us basically financing their renovations, and that doesn't do us any good either, so I would rather give them a couple minutes, let them see what their biggest, top, highest minute is, and then, because I think that's where it's gonna come down to with probably not so much myself, because I'm,
And you
I
guys
look at
can
it
come
from-
in one at a time and tell us what your bid is. And we can decide.
I mean, they can decide that too. Do you guys want to walk away for a few minutes, decide what your top dollar is?
You can talk to your.
Yeah, I mean, I know Laura's not here and you cannot, just.
I've bought stuff before without her.
Hey, you don't ask for permission, you ask for forgiveness,
Yes,
right?
forgiveness.
I believe in that too.
Okay, the second thing I would say, besides price, is if you draw these legal document up, will they go along with that?
Which is why I think we need if there's terms that we want to see, I think we need to make that clear before we award one tonight.
I think there has to be something in there where they have to have a sustainable business in there for X amount of years.
Yes.
Yeah, and for at
That's-
least 5, I would say.
And what does that mean? Just that the door, it's a retail business with the doors open to the public 5 days a week or?
Something like that.
With what we did with Caleb, like with the 5-year thing, so. Now, we're not giving these people money, but we're giving them a hell of a break,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if,
We're essentially.
So if it goes belly up and they walk out of the building.
Yeah. Theoretically, the highest offer from those guys is like 33% of what it's worth. I mean, even if we try to recoup half the money back, it's still 101,000, it's a change. And I know they gotta sink a lot of money into it, but that's the only thing. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be hard to say you gotta have the business open. But I dang sure don't want it to be where we say, okay, Mike, we'll go with you, 60,000 or whatever. 6 months later, he's got it on the market through another real estate agent for 203 or something.
And he gets that out of it.
And I'm not saying we'll do that, but there's always.
Yeah,
can we say they
I
have to
don't say
own the
so
building
either,
for
but
5 years?
we have to
I think 5 years
and,
is maybe
yeah,
the
Yeah, I
time.
think that's,
own building and business,
half the
building.
time it takes that long to get
I
going.
assume they're probably gonna put it in like an LLC or something, which is.
Oh, I'm sure they will, and that, we probably ain't gonna have any trouble with that, but at least
Right.
to have our stuff covered.
Yeah.
We probably should have, at least that 5 years.
Yeah, own the building and.
No, we're not
and
giving no
sustain.
money towards them,
Yeah.
because we're giving them a heck of a burden.
Yeah,
there.
so they have to own the building and
So
run a
that's-
business for 5 years.
50% break, right, 50% break.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's the other thing is, building a business, 5 years, it's gonna take time to build
That's bare
anything.
minimum getting it
Yeah.
going. That's-
Yeah, I mean,
I've
that-
owned and done that, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
You will bring it up to.
So one of the things that, because we wanna make sure when we discuss it, what your total dollar amount is, that we've made it real clear what we're expecting. Obviously, we, what's it called? What did we decide that we were, what did I decide a few minutes ago? Our standard of what we would like to see is not something that we would be embarrassed to once own the building. We would like to see the building and a sustainable business be owned by whoever purchases it for 5 years.
That's fair.
Because my big thing is 2 to 3 years.
It's gonna take you a
Yeah,
while to
mine's-
be profitable.
5 years minimum to really get going.
Right.
And that's
I owned
the
a
thing too,
business
is
for a
right.
year and I was like, well, it's not working, but it literally minimum 5 years. I don't know, I know a lot of people that own their own businesses and it does.
Yeah, and you had said something about 2 to 3 years. I think honestly, it's gonna take you a year to renovate.
It is,
Oh, and-
it is.
And that
It
that
is.
kind of just says,
Yeah.
well, we are only gonna make you own it for a year after that, after.
Right.
And I think that that's not, that's
I'm
kind
good
of
with-
cutting,
I'm
it's
good
kind of cutting your own foot off too, you know,
Right, no,
because
I'm good with the
that.
5, and I'm pretty much like Mike too, I mean,
Something
we're
doesn't
we're
work,
probably
we'll
gonna own it
change.
for a long, long time.
And if
Yeah.
whatever we put in there doesn't work,
And
We're
because really that storefront, is kinda I can't say our retirement plan, but it's something that we can do that doesn't take a lot of effort once you get rolling. I can man the store, or she can man the store, and it's not strenuous or laborious, it's just time consuming.
since I'm retired, I'll have plenty.
So me and Mike talked,
Okay.
if you guys would accept my 75, would you be willing, cause Mike's got a couple other buildings, would you be willing to give him funding for some of that? For funding for another property?
That
How much?
money's already taken
How
up with the.
Because we've got 46, it's already of that 75 that you would be offering.
Yeah.
Is already promised,
Okay.
in good faith.
Okay,
That everything goes well with Caleb. We've already promised him that if things go well and we can get this, that we're gonna do 46 for him.
okay.
So,
So would you give me the, like, cause I think he's gonna listening to his conversation, he's gonna work on the building and flip it. He doesn't have a plan for any businesses going in.
who, Caleb?
Yeah.
He's
just-
gonna try to lease it.
Right, but
Yeah.
that's just leasing, that
Yeah.
doesn't, he's not starting anything, he's just gonna make it available for lease.
Right.
Yeah.
He already asked about selling it to get his money to have to pay the 46 back.
Right.
So I don't know how much money you have extra, but could you give me 45,000 to put towards the other doctor's office, or 30, whatever's left out of the 75? To put towards, because I already bought the Leduc's building. So I can
Really,
put that
29
towards that.
It's only 29 after that, yeah. Yeah,
Trying to make that, and I don't know how we could like commit to that right now. I mean,
My big thing is then it's gonna come with contingencies on both of you, because obviously Caleb's got a lot of contingencies. We've really,
we had to put the
Probably-
lien on the,
yeah, he has to have a lien on his business, for 5 years.
I mean, Mike has invested a lot of money in the town here.
I mean,
know, I know, but
and that's
you
my
can't do
thing, is
for
I'm
one that we
thinking,
didn't
we
do
can
the other.
probably even come up with the other $1,000 somewhere
Okay,
to make
Mike,
it 30.
you
What
got-
if I raised it, 1,000?
Hold on a second, I'm crunching numbers.
Mike, what, you bought Dr. Leduc's building? Are you planning on putting like a fitness center or something in there? Is that?
Laura will probably do it there too, because she already talked about that And I also have another, there's another doctor, there's another doctor that was interested in possibly doing it and coming to
Well,
town.
I wish you'd get a doctor in.
So, I'm working on that one too, but if we don't do something, it'll probably be a gym or Laura will start something else, so.
Could you buy some ambulances?
Yeah.
I know a building that might
No
be.
kidding.
If you could hook me up with that building, and I would probably get the ambulance thing going too, if you.
That's what her brother does, and he does
Right.
really well. He's got
Oh,
he's got a private ambulance service and he does really well.
Oh, yeah.
We're getting all back here.
We gotta get together, Mike.
I know, that's.
So what if we
I'll
raise
go
our
do
bid to
something.
76,000 and then you give him the 30 that way he can do what he
And then
needs to
we'll-
do in that building?
And then we'll keep the building for 5 years or more. I'm
And
planning
you'll
on keeping
agree
it
to
for.
keeping the building for 5 years as
I'm
well?
not gonna sell it, cause I'm still trying to get the building next to it from the town to do 2 offices. So I'm not going anywhere, I invested too much.
I mean,
in this town.
I would,
The-
that to me feels like the best of both worlds, because we're giving Mike the money he would like to have. Because he, like you just said, he has done so much for this town, and he's got businesses running now. It does cut us kind of close with any helping anyone above and beyond you two though.
Could just accept less and you guys can work that out.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
Easier
know.
on me.
we're not looking to make your life easy, Derek.
Sorry.
I can,
You're managing
if
the
you
town,
take
bud.
30 off of the 75, I can give Mike a check for 30.
Hey, I'm good with that.
That's a fact.
That's fine too. I don't
I think we can do that too. I'm okay with that.
That's a lot better.
Honestly.
Honestly, for you guys, it would be a lot
You're
better.
gonna get charged to use the CDC, you're gonna have to go
Or
through all the
attorney
CDC
fees.
stuff again.
Yeah, I can do that. We can meet up here, sign whatever we need to sign,
We'll
and
write,
then
we'll write Mike.
I'll write Mike a check for 30.
I'm okay with that too.
What about, okay, so now we're really getting into negotiations, isn't it gonna cost us $2,000?
Yeah, he's agreed to pay for half.
Yeah.
And that
so
was an
that's
estimate.
it. So
That
that
was-
was like, so now we're
So
looking at, let's say 48.
We have a little bit of money.
Yeah.
I mean, we just earned a little bit of interest on our $200,000 CD. And we get
You should probably have that in the
$15,000 a year.
I'm just saying.
How much extra can you give now?
Yeah, now that you got. Extra money, what do you?
That's already accounted for. That's Chris's money.
I know.
We can't give Chris's money away.
Yeah.
So,
He says, it's expensive, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, either way, I mean, it's,
how do you guys feel about that? If we make that, but it's contingent on them truly doing their end of that? Because it would make it easier on Derek and,
I mean, we're gonna have a lot of extra fees. I'm just.
is that legal for us to make an agreement based on
If they're
anything?
doing a private agreement, that's
Max
on them,
does-
but
Max
you're
does
not gonna be
something,
able to enforce, you know, if you
Yeah.
get $30,000 from this gentleman and he doesn't give Mike the 30,000, you're not gonna be able to enforce it, and then you just got $46,000 less. than-
That's not.
I hope Mike trusts.
And I'm not saying it is,
I
but I'm
think
just
Mike-
saying.
yes, I-
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not only a customer, he's also my friend.
Yeah, I don't think we.
So
And obviously, we
He's-
couldn't hold Mike to any terms at that rate, but.
Which, I mean, that
it would
does
be
free
a
you
lot
up.
cleaner.
It would free you up to do is, I mean, at least to where only one of you is living under the terms of the,
I'd like,
I think he, hold on, yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Max.
Derek.
Yeah.
Like on the money wise, I said a while ago that I don't want to put ourselves out of business.
Right.
We want to help as many people as we can. So are we still gonna have money to help other people if they come forward?
I mean, we don't have a ton of money, and that's the truth. I mean, and we're already giving away money that we don't even have yet.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Like
I
tonight,
mean, we have
mhm.
other means of doing things, but I mean, our properties, our assets about all we got. I mean, we're not getting a ton of revenue either. I mean, we're getting $15,000 a year, and we have a couple $1,000s in expenses a year, so it's building slowly. I mean, if our TIF districts are able to build up and we're able to increase our accessibility, then our revenue will build up as well, but
Okay, so then basically if we go with this, it's gonna shut us down from helping anybody else that comes forward. For now.
Essentially, short of getting some sort of bond. Yeah, I mean, we got, look at, like I said, we might have $30,000 outside that's disposable right now. It's not including any of these deals with Caleb or Mike or George. So, I mean, we don't have a lot of money to do much stuff. So the other option would be, we can ask them for their highest price, we can decline it, we can work with a realtor, try to get more money out of it if you'd rather go that direction.
How, that hasn't been successful either.
I mean, when we had it listed, it was listed, I think the lowest that we went down to was 259. When we did this public offering process, we were offering it at 203,000, we had little to no interest. I think Jay Knowles had 3 people that had shown a little bit of interest in it, George being one of them. And no one gave us a written offer.
And then we, the council decided we go down to 203.
I don't know that it was ever,
Yes, it was.
that's what it was offered at in the public
Yeah.
packet, and
Yeah.
that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it,
Well, I think once, like myself, when I toured it, and Mike's in the same predicament, anybody that's going to invest, the layout is kind of bad.
It's shocking.
Yeah, so I mean, and then
Total
you're talking,
renovation, I mean,
you're talking about whatever you're gonna do with all the water and the heating and different things. And the flooring, I mean, there's a lot of money to be
I
put
thought
in
the
that.
wallpaper was nice.
It is, it's got the,
It's
it's
real
got,
nice, the curtains too.
Nice.
it's got that stick border, nice wallpaper borders.
Mark, how much was you asking for?
29,
30.
30 basically.
30,000.
I think.
I mean, honestly,
Everybody.
that's the thing too, is so.
And we've got a lot
we've-
going on.
With this though, we've helped 3 people backdoor, it's probably helped you free up money so that you have the ability to do. That gets 3 really nice buildings running. We've got a proposal for, trying to help the one building where we've got, how is that? What was that? Where we were, trying to get a grant or,
all the shoe
Landmarks
shops.
building?
yeah.
Oh, no update on that yet.
Okay, so that's something that we've also got rolling, is we're trying to get the buildings open and used, but the reality is if we say no right now, we've now shut down 3 buildings.
Yeah.
3 businesses in town. You know what I mean? 3 people who've looked at us and said, we're going to do these things. Cause I mean, absolute worst case scenario, we know these 2 are gonna start a building. Even if Caleb walks away tomorrow, then we still have that 46. Our reality is that's 3 businesses in town that we don't have right now. And
Mike, are you doing the shoe shop? Did we talk about that in council?
Yeah, I would like to, I need to just give their.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, I thought we brought that up.
so I mean, now we're looking at 4 because we've helped him. You know what I mean? I guess I'm just looking at it like, it could be, we could be in a lot worse situations. You know, maybe we've not as much.
So I had a counter proposal. I was for either one of you. So would, I mean, however you guys do it on that back end thing on the check. I was looking when I was already just doing the numbers up there. Would you be willing to give 80% or 80,000 for it? That's 40% of what it's worth on the estimate. And then you and Mike can still have your thing. That way we're at least getting some sort of
If we
value
did
out
the
of it.
80, we wouldn't do that with Mike.
Oh, you won't be able to do that?
No, that's if we lowered the price. If we-
Yeah,
if
I
we-
mean, I'm not going, you're not talking about giving him 30 and then doing 80, right?
No, we're not saying 110,
No,
we're
okay,
saying
okay.
82.
Well,
Just-
Like,
just
so
the
basically
80,
that's putting you at,
Yes.
If, in that way, cause when you proposed, I looked at both of them, yours was 60, yours was 75, and I was just over here crunching numbers, and I was gonna try to get the most value.
I
for it.
would,
So you would give us,
I would rather not with the money that I'm putting in it, that'd just be another 5,000 that I could use for improvements. I mean, that could cover possibly a fence, that could cover flooring, whenever you look at it as an investor type. But, I mean, one good thing is if you guys did do this deal, you still got 2 investors that if something come up in the future, that you can count on having in the future. Cause I mean, like that building sat there for a long time and there's really nobody investing in it. I mean, that is the thing.
So you're proposing 76,000?
I would,
Totally.
or take 30,000 off or to make it easier and to save you a little bit of money, you know, with all the fees and stuff. I could wire it to Mike, I could bring him a cashier's check and we could do it right here.
What do you say, lady president?
Honestly, I'm thrilled that we have an option in front of us, that we get both buildings running, we get things running, we get both people who are very good in our community. I mean, obviously, we have 2 people in our community who are doing a lot. And probably the most stress I've had today is trying to figure out when I got your name in my email. And obviously, I know the Stalins, I was like, this is not my ideal. Because I would prefer be able to make one person happy and not have to make someone else sad. This to me is our perfect example of how we can actually make 2 very good investors and a third one that we really do want in town. Because it would be nice if Caleb was coming up in here with you guys too and being like, hey, we love Dillsboro. Dillsboro is helping us.
Right.
You know, that we're basically putting 3 very good investors in town in a good position.
Money wise, we're not losing anything, I mean.
No, I mean, right now, we're losing money letting it just sit there.
But I mean, like
Yeah.
with the proposal, if we took the 75,000 or if that's the offer we took, we would get the 75,000, but then Mike's gonna request that we give him money. So I mean, it works out in the wash, we're still gonna get the same amount that goes.
And I like that. I like
You guys
that.
are agreeable to that, I mean, I would prefer to that.
I'm more-
Rather than have another agreement.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll make
honestly, I say yes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay,
that offer.
does anybody have any objections first?
I have a
So we can-
suggestion, I would just make sure that if you're approving an offer, or accepting an offer, that you make contingent upon the economic development agreement.
Yeah, the economic development, the
that
5
states
years,
Some of those things.
and then what else did we say? Yeah, you have to own the building and business for 5 years.
Do you have a
We
time to
understand
start? A start date?
Our day with Caleb was 2 years, but that was because he has to get some pretty impressive stuff done. That building that he is looking at is in probably, but I would hope worse shape than Lenover, because Lenover is at least but I mean, what is your true timeline that you think you'll have?
It would
business
take me over a year.
So if we say within 2
Well,
years.
for one,
you'll
I'm
have-
doing a
within
lot
2
of it,
years,
yeah,
yes.
for one, I'm doing a lot of it myself.
Right, which, I mean, we understand that,
Running
yeah.
businesses
Unfortunately,
and-
you guys are all.
Well, we are
And
dropping
you already have stuff.
We are getting out of the bus business. In May.
So,
Buses are done.
so you're gonna,
Yes.
you are going to say you will own the business, you know, barring horrible help or something crazy happening. We understand that too with it, but for 5 years, you're gonna own the business.
Yes.
And within 2 years from the day we close, you'll have something running. Yes. Does anyone, other than
What
the economic development,
what default or fallback terms do we want, I mean, do we?
I mean, if within 5 years you sell it,
Do we want like the
I'm
appraised
not.
value?
You ain't got, you're not.
We just wanna do
Yeah,
that.
we're not gonna sell it.
The difference in the appraised value. That's fine, just for
Yeah.
the right, so that basically we basically have a financial note on the property that if you don't meet these terms, you owe that $170,000, whatever it is.
Appraised value today, not
Yes,
5 years
yes.
from now.
no, today.
Yeah, okay,
So the
203.
appraised value was 203,
that's fine.
and are we saying technically he's paying 75, or are we saying technically he's paying 45?
I would probably rather leave that as a whole separate deal and not even be involved in
Okay,
this.
so we're
Well,
saying,
Well, if
We could maybe agree to lower our appraised value or?
Yeah,
So what if we say-
you would have to lower the appraised value for the.
So what if we said the appraised value that we would be willing to sell it at would be 150, because that takes it down 53,000.
That'd be great.
And then
You get a
we are,
difference of
Yeah, sure, sure, that'd be
and
fantastic.
then we are agreeing that, because you're planning to pay us $46,000, correct? Because we want
Yes.
to make sure we cover Caleb 100%, so.
Yep.
Then 46, so you're looking at 101,000, is what you would actually owe if you sell it within 5 years. Okay,
Absolutely.
is there anything else, other than,
But there's no limitations, right? Like if I start the gym and it don't work, or I start the.
no,
I
as
can
long as it's
swap.
not something that, like we said, we don't want to picket your building.
Yeah.
That's my only, I mean, and I don't know how we're gonna write that real nice and pretty. I don't want something in town that we're embarrassed. And I know you guys aren't,
Vulgar.
yeah, vulgar,
No.
we don't want
We come up with
anything,
some language, it's not
No.
yeah, and then we're gonna,
obscene.
promiscuous, I don't know, I'm
I
gonna,
got you. ain't
I'm
got
gonna
nothing to worry
put like
about.
something, I'm gonna put a circle around that, we all know what we're talking
Yes,
about.
right.
But we're gonna put something in there saying we've agreed to the fact that it won't be something of that nature.
And if you get in there and both of you guys, when you get in your buildings, if one of them's not panning out, you wanna put something in there? Indoor golf simulator, I'm sure me and Derek.
Buddy,
The ceilings aren't high enough there,
thought
we've
about
already
that.
thought about it.
You know what, I wish someone, honestly, I wish that you could find a nice sized building here with tall ceilings. Yeah, Lucky's would have been the building.
That place in
You can make it a sport.
Lawrenceburg, I've been there several times already.
It's pretty nice, and it's not big, I mean, it's little and it's got only, but it's nice.
Is there anything else you guys would like to see other than, a reputable business, we have to have the building, the business running within 2 years. The business running, and they have to own the building for 5 years. If we're gonna say the appraised value is 150, that we would have been willing to sell it at if they sell or don't have something going within or for that 5 years.
Default.
If we default it back to 101.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you would like to see us say that we would be willing or able to do? I mean, I know we personally would like to close as soon as possible, so whenever you guys are ready for that, you let us know.
You let us know.
So I'd say
You
we
guys
just need a-
have your
we just need a
agreement.
motion.
The only thing, do we have to do a deed search or anything? I don't.
We can put that in agreement.
Yeah,
You know,
stuff like that
depending
is,
on a group title search.
Yeah.
Is there
That way
anything else
guys
you can think
run
of?
that through.
So all the terms that you guys are talking about obviously will be subject to review of the attorney, of John. So just keep that in mind. It's great to have this conversation, because that way you kind of have an understanding of the terms. But at the end of the day, Dillsboro's attorney will need to make sure all this stuff is up to par, and then he will likely send that to you, or I'll send it, or Derek will send it to you to review to make sure you're okay with it. And then once that's agreed upon, then this motion that whoever's making, that you would accept it, then that would go.
That's
Okay.
fine.
so barring anything from the attorney that changes
You should still
either,
have a motion
and-
with the terms tonight though, right?
Yeah.
And the terms and the offer.
Yeah.
Yeah, contingent upon review of your attorney, it's gonna be a long motion.
okay, attorney. All right, so based on our request of the type of business within 2 years, keeping the building for 5 years, and maintaining a business, even if it's not the same business, they have to maintain something.
Right.
Because that's the other thing, is I don't want it to be in there for 6 months and you go, you know what, pool business sucks during the winter time. Yeah, we know that. Yeah, we all know that. We all know, but I think you guys do have a good plan on other things that you can do. So you'll run a business for 5 years, or for 3 of the 5 years, because of waiting on time. Once it's ready, you'll run a business value at 150, with
46,000.
accepting the 46,000 in actual cash value, which would mean you would default to the 101,000 due within. Huh?
104. 104.
104,000.
Yeah, my bad, no, it's not done today. All right, so 104,000 difference in the appraised value is what you would owe us, we can decide, I'm sure John will have an opinion on your terms on that. Like if it's 90 days or if it's when you close and sell it, I don't know, that's the attorney. And then if anything else that John comes up with, that as long as it's within realm of what you are acceptable, does that sound like something you would be willing to do? Okay,
So does
any,
someone be willing to make
is
that
someone
motion?
want to make that motion? That we accept the offer as barring these
I make a
terms?
motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Opposed?
Congratulations.
Congratulations, guys, you guys got a deal. Boy, that was stressful, I'm so glad you guys are happy.
I didn't ruin it, I didn't think it was that stressful.
I was scared, I want you both to be happy.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
All right,
Yeah, I'm happy.
so I'll work with our attorney tomorrow and I'll be in touch.
Yep.
We'll get those agreements.
Thank you so much, guys, especially for working amongst yourselves too, because you've made it a lot easier for us to make the people happy that.
Well, maybe me and him will get together and do something else.
Come talk to us, we'll happily.
There's definitely other buildings in town.
I mean, honestly, I can't wait for the coffee shop.
I know, I'm so
My
excited.
daughter said, Mom, when does she open the hair salon? And I said, I think it's already open. She's like, well, I gotta wait till after graduation, because she doesn't wanna get her hair colored and done before graduation.
I'll
She's
just,
like, she's gonna do my
just
hair.
real
then,
quick.
so.
On old business, I want to let you guys know Caleb's still trying to giving us the green light to go ahead with those agreements.
Okay,
So I was gonna ask that, I thought I read somewhere in one of these things, I was going back through, he still hasn't got it, he was supposed to provide us his financing stuff, he still hasn't provided any of the financing paperwork?
He's provided a financial approval, like a pre-approval letter, but he's asked me to hold off because he wants to make sure everything's working out on his end before we start incurring expenses and having our attorneys drafting those agreements. So I double checked with him today to make sure I didn't miss anything, but he said, yes, just give him a little bit more time, and making sure everything's working on his end. So once I get that, then I'll tell our attorneys to kind of get those agreements drafted, and we'll get that to you all then. That's all I have, unless you guys have anything under old business or new business.
so no news is still good news from, the one,
The grant
yeah,
proposal, yeah, we had a call with the IEDC last week, they had questions about the proposal. Really it was more about match, so unfortunately, Ready One CDBG funding was an eligible match, but apparently in Ready Two, it's not. So we're not able to use that as a match. I'm not sure if that makes a huge difference on what we can ask for. Mike and I have to go back and look at everything.
Maybe we use our match as match.
Yeah, so I still think that can be used as match, but the overall ask, I think there's a 3-to-1 ratio or something like that. So we have to maybe go back and rework that. But a good sign is that they're interested, they're asking questions.
yeah,
But
it's not
we-
a no, because we like things that aren't. no
Right,
yet,
it's not a
so.
no, so we have to go back, redo some of those numbers and send it back to them, and hopefully we get a yes at some point.
Perfect,
We'll know probably by the end of June, whether yes or no, so. I do have some other updates as well, if it's time for those.
Sure.
Yeah, but redevelopment commissions have to have an annual report every year, and an annual presentation. We're working on getting that prepared for you all. I'll probably be able to have it here. One Dearborn's gonna do that, by your next meeting. And it's just something that you have to do every year. It kind of says where your TIF areas are at, what the tax increment is for the year. It's kind of like a financial report, essentially what your expenses were. That way the public knows exactly what's going on. And then there is a SCI Ready, which is our 6-county region here in Southeast Indiana. They're having a capacity building workshop for elected officials and appointed officials. And that is on April 21st. It's for creative and infill housing. That's at the Ivy Tech Community College, Lakefront, from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. if any of you are interested in going. Derek, you signed up for that, right? Yeah, so Derek can be there, none of y'all can make it.
I work that day.
Did you say it was lakefront or riverfront?
Lakefront,
Lakefront.
yep, the one on Industrial Drive, yep.
Yeah.
And that's all I got.
What are they doing with the old hardware building across the street?
As far as I know, they're still accepting offers or for sale. I don't know how actively marketed it is or not, but I don't think they have any plans personal or themselves to do anything with it.
So I saw, what's the plan for down on 50, right across from Old 50? I see that they're selling, I thought they was gonna open, someone bought that, they were gonna do housing development, now it's for sale, it's 109 acres.
So you're talking about from a few years back.
Yeah,
I haven't heard any updates on that.
it's for sale now, they just put signs up this week.
I'm not sure. who
No.
owns it.
Where are we talking about?
No, I can't remember who owns it, but
It's a woman who owns it, it's not John.
Right when you get, if you go down Old 50,
Yeah.
250, right when you get to the stop sign right across the street, that property.
Oh, okay.
it's
yeah.
connected to.
Where she
Scottish.
put all the electric in and everything?
Yeah, she's gonna run some Christmas or Halloween drive or something, I don't know.
Yeah, they just, it's for sale now, they just
Yeah.
put boards.
Well, there's a
up.
lot of, how many acres is there?
109.
She put a ton of money into road,
Yeah, yeah.
electric, I mean,
Yeah,
there's a lot of bucks in there,
yeah, I think they was, it was gonna be a Christmas display, drive-through Christmas display.
something like that.
I got a question on that TIF thing, like on 50, got turned down.
The county's to, yeah.
Can we reopen that or do you say anything?
So
about that?
we don't, that's not part of the town's territory.
Yeah.
So we've actually had one of the first property owner outside of town, Conrad Gertis. He's got the old Model Ts and stuff sitting out. He's approached us about getting sewer to the property and agreeing to annexing it. So we kind of discussed it as council. We're looking at potentially that option. I think if we can get sewer there, get Conrad's property into town, and then that gives us one step closer to kind of continuing out west. Personally, I think it'd be nice if we could get the SCI data to town, but, it's a
Yeah, I thought
complicated,
that was a good idea.
it's a complicated process. The state makes annexation very difficult, and it pretty much has to be 100% voluntary from the property owners. And we have, it's like the annexed territory has to share so much percentage contiguous boundary with the existing municipal boundary. So getting that first step to Conrad is a big step, and honestly, getting sewer there is a big step too. So I think if those two things happen, I mean, it makes it more viable. You know, I think at some point, if we get to that point, I think we should TIF it. You know, I think this commission could, you know, even help pay for getting sewer there.
Talking about SCI data,
Well, first step would be getting the Conrad's Gertis's, because he's interested in, you know, doing something with that property and kind of downsizing, so.
I'd be interested doing the backside SCI data.
No, we run our sewer down Bank Street. He's talked about, you know, potentially reopening that road and extending it out to his property, which would be nice too.
They're like, hey, that's nice. All right, anybody else? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any opposed? Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.